Welcome to this week's episode of
Hey, I think we're good here.
I'm one of your co-hosts, Jackson Metakekia.
And I'm Matt West, and we're here getting to know the sport of volleyball through the life experiences our guests have to share with us. Come take a listen. Today's guest is all-time great wave, Kim Hill. Kim is a Champions League, Turkish League, and Italian League champion, two-time Club World Champion, World Grand Prix, and Volleyball Nations League winner, an Olympic bronze medalist, and the MVP of the 2014 World Championships, a tournament in which her team also won. Here's her story. Well, Kim, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
Welcome to the podcast, Kim.
Thanks.
We're actually super stoked to have you. We've been talking about having you for like weeks.
I'm honored.
I was like, we have to have a PNQ native, and this is it. Aside from me.
Yeah, you're from Oregon, right?
Right, Portland.
Let's go. I just drove down from Eugene today.
I heard that. What were you doing in Eugene? And boy, how was the drive?
One, I have a bunch of family in Eugene, uncles, aunts, cousins. My brother lives up there, and I just like it.
Huh. Interesting.
And the drive was dope. The drive was like all trees. Can't complain.
Good.
Who'd you play for in Portland?
Like a high school club?
Yeah.
Nike Northwest Juniors, but
Yeah,
doesn't
that's what I
exist
thought.
anymore.
That's where Martine played too, right?
Who?
Bettendorf? Or she after your time?
No, yeah. Who is that?
She
Ariel
played at Oregon.
Bettendorf. Is that a sister?
No, that's Ariel Westendorf. Is she Ariel Usher?
No, I know that. I know her.
She's younger. I think she's a year younger than me. So she'd be like 13.
The name is familiar.
Maybe her mom was a coach or something. I don't know.
I think she has a sister named Ariel.
Does she?
Or something. Older sister. Do you know what school she went to?
She went to Oregon.
No,
high school?
Central Catholic, maybe?
That sounds,
Did
yeah.
I do it? I don't know. Okay. Maybe I know her. Maybe I don't.
I don't know. How did you start being in Portland? Because there's not a lot of volleyball.
Yeah, there's not a ton of volleyball in Oregon. How'd you get going?
That's an understatement. Well, I played a lot of sports. I was too tall for them eventually. so I moved to volleyball, and I started playing. My older sister played, and so for a small club in Gresham, Oregon, called Mount Hood Volleyball Club. Yeah. So I started there when I was younger,
Mount Hood.
Yeah.
Mount Hood
Volleyball Club, and so I played that a couple of years, and then I kind of outgrew it, something, and then I think my high school school coach knew about Nike Northwest Juniors. She knew the club director or something.
Yeah.
So then she was like, "You should try out for this team because you've surpassed other teams." So that's what.
Oh, nice.
How old were you?
When I played for Nike?
Yeah.
I think I started 16s.
How old were you when you started playing volleyball?
I want to say 13.
And at this point, were you already done with every other sport, or were you still dabbling in other stuff?
I played basketball through high school.
Oh, okay.
So I played soccer until I switched to volleyball until 13, and then I was playing basketball the whole time.
Were you good?
Yeah, no. No, my claim to fame is I was Oregon State 2A MVP.
That's actually
2A.
Though.
Yeah.
2A is what? The shot 500 kids. Sweet.
It's all the small towns of Oregon. We played in some bizarre places, but
it was probably pretty cool at the time.
Yeah, it was fun. The best part was that our state tournament was in Pendleton, Oregon, which is
where literally Pendleton is made.
Yeah. Yeah, our family.
If you know what
Pendleton
real flannels
wool.
are,
yeah,
Pendleton.
It's funny because each of my sisters made it to state and we went to Pendleton, and our gift was this nice Pendleton blanket my parents got for us. But anyways, so in the Pendleton Convention Center they have the court from the old Phoenix Suns court. So we got to play on
cool.
it's pretty cool.
That is actually really rad.
So we're we play on the same court as Charles Barkley, it's pretty
cool. That's a claim to fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really rad.
Yeah. Had to hear it.
Anything dealing with Charles, I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
Right? Who doesn't love Charles?
I love Charles.
Yeah.
When did you start getting recruited? Because I'm guessing it was right when you made the move.
Yeah.
To Nike Northwest. Did you guys start going to qualifiers, or what changed? Or you guys were just better, so more coaches were like, we'll watch them versus Mount Hood?
Yeah, I think it was a combo. I mean, Mount Hood, I was 7th and 8th grade, so it's pretty young.
Okay.
So then moving to 16s, the club was better. We went to, I think, one qualifier, the Denver, Colorado one.
You guys didn't go to the one in Spokane?
No.
That's odd.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't. I think we had one shot because they didn't really expect us to do anything big. So
Okay.
it's kind of a fun trip versus Spokane was
yeah.
Sorry to anyone from
Spokane.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was the question? Did I answer it? I don't remember.
Yeah, when did you start getting recruited?
That year. So I joined the club. I was in it for a few months maybe, and didn't expect to be recruited, or I didn't really understand it. So my coach emailed my parents, and we had a sit down dinner with my club coach, and he laid out my recruiting plan because he knew it was going to be overwhelming, you know what I mean? So it was
for sure.
Yeah, it was the best time of my life. Are you kidding? I feel like a rock star. My dad still has a binder of the letters, from the club. It was so fun.
So being probably the best player in your region, how'd you decide on a school?
And having a binder full of options.
I know.
Yeah, right?
Well, yeah. Well, the good thing was my parents kind of strongly suggested / required that I stay on the West Coast-ish, or the western half of the United States.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to get away from home. Even Seattle was too close, which is a little bit, in hindsight, it wouldn't have been too close, but
no, but still, it's it's close enough where they were oh, I could go to every game.
They don't listen to this. And so I wanted to get away, and a couple of my sisters went to school in California, and so I was looking for I came from a small Christian high school, so I would have loved to go to a small school if I could, and then but a D1 program, and that way Pepperdine was the perfect combination, kind of.
Where else were you getting looked at? Where else were you getting looked at and were actually considering before choosing Pepperdine?
Yeah, I was looking at Pac-10 schools. Probably I was most interested in Washington, UW. Yeah. And Oregon for a while was
up
big
there
too. Yeah.
What was the kicker to not go to Oregon? It's too close.
Yeah, seriously.
Kind of.
Or was it
It was kind of too close.
I've heard some wild stuff about their coaching staff back in the day.
Yeah. Can I say the names? I don't know how. Jim.
I don't know, but I think we know what we're talking about.
Wild, yeah, a little bit wild stuff. But it was a little bit too close to home, and I think it was a little bit intimidating to me. It was big, and I went for a visit there, and I think it was just didn't feel right. So I'm a big if it feels right kind of thing person. So
I feel you. I remember when I went to SC on my visit, and I met I don't know if he was athletic director. I don't know what he really was, or he was a part of the guy who does all the tutoring. And he was yeah, and he kept pointing, pressing on my chest. And the one thing I hate is when people touch me. So he keeps pushing on my chest, and my mom's kind of holding me. And Bill Ferguson's what's wrong with Matt? What's his deal? And then this guy's yeah, I'll give you my card. And Fergie's you can't do that. That's illegal.
Yeah.
And then he's yeah, well, I'll give you my number. And Fergie's he can't talk to you. And I was at that point, I was you guys are a disaster over there. I don't know what's going on, but
yeah.
Yeah, but you can get a lot from what a school's a program's even just a few interactions. That's how I was at USC too. It freaked me out. My mom hated it and I hated it.
Yeah, as soon as they put me on the golf cart, I was I'm not a football player. Yeah. I'm just a volleyball player. Let's be honest here.
But those are also fun a little bit.
No, they are cool. But I don't know how your trip or your recruiting visit was at Pep, but like we just walked it, and I just walked with Marv the whole time, and my dad walked with Dave the whole time, and my mom walked with Alex, and we just talked shop for like 4 hours. Was it like that with you and Nina?
I do remember.
Really?
Yeah. I think I was
Super memorable for you then.
I have a bad memory in general, but I remember I liked it. I don't think we did a golf cart or anything. I think we walked around a lot. But,
and I remember my dad being like, "You're gonna need a car at some point."
Yeah. So Kim, at the end of the day, what made you choose Pepperdine? Was it just the values of the school, or what was it?
it was a combo of those things. Like I said, like small school and whatever, big D1 program that was like relatively successful. And then once I got on the campus, it like kind of affirmed it for me. I was like, yeah.
It's one of the most beautiful campuses in the world.
I would argue the.
Did you go on a nice day? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
God damn, I went on the worst day ever. I couldn't see anything, and I was like, this school sucks. The architecture's weak. I just
from UW.
Yeah, I just saw the UW, and like I had taken a trip to like UCLA and Stanford and SC, and even Santa Barbara. I was like, all right, at least it was a nice day in like Ivy. And then Pepperdine was the last one, and it was like June gloom, and I was like, are you kidding me, man? This place is overrated. I'll never go here. And I committed like a week later.
Can I do an aside? I visited, this is like the Taj Mahal on the cloudiest, foggiest day of the freaking year. You couldn't even see the Taj Mahal. We had to wait for like 3 extra hours out of our schedule to even like see the outline of it. Like anyways. Weather really determines a lot.
So then
that's a great side note.
When you walked into Pep, what position were you?
Middle.
Okay. And
a middle in high school, played all the way around.
That's the dream. That's what Aaron Russell did too. He was a middle, and he would just hit 2 balls. Yeah, he was a middle growing up until he was a freshman at Penn State. And then they started, not even his sophomore year at Penn State. And then they're like, you should learn how to pass and like play all the way around. Yeah, not you. You played, because even my freshman year, your senior year, you were like a middle opposite.
Yeah, I was an opposite that like hit slides all the time.
Which is sick.
It was awesome.
That team was so cool.
You can get real creative.
Yeah. It was so fun. So we had like our middle running like an A or whatever you call it, like the back tight quick or whatever. Yeah. And then me on the slide like 1 footed. So both of us were going off with 1 foot, and it was like one after the other. It was.
Did you at any point in time through your collegiate career think like, I'm thinking about national team. I think national team could be in my future.
No.
Never.
When did that come about then?
My 5th year, I was playing only beach, and my like best friend and teammate's mom like suggested we go to the tryout like 2 days before the tryout. She was like, USA's having the tryout, like you guys should go. And we were like, no thanks, like it was our spring break, like we had to go on our spring break, blah blah blah. And like also like, why? And she's like, oh, it'd be so fun, blah blah. Maybe you can make like a
A2 or something.
Yeah, one of those teams. And like sweated over it for like 3 hours and like panicked, and then went for fun. The rest is history. Yeah.
How did they go about the selection process? Not like how do they like grade you or anything, but like how long does it take for them to say like, hey, Kim Hill, you're coming to the USA gym?
Like as far as the tryout goes, or like after the tryout?
After the tryout.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like post tryout, like a few weeks later or a week later, I don't remember exactly. Like I got an email from Karch like inviting me to like a long tryout, which was like, did you just hear my whistle in my mouth? It's like, sorry, it was like a 2-month tryout.
Okay.
And then it was like, we'll evaluate how you did after that and see if you have a place, whatever. But like, I think that's what it was, like an email a few weeks later.
Did you try out as an outside?
No, I tried out as an opposite. And then I think the tryout was like 3 days or something. And so the first 2 days I was an opposite. And then the last day they kind of separated like a group who was like had some potential or like, I don't know, whatever you call it. And then they moved me to outside that day.
How'd you do? Do you remember?
I remember being like, I felt like I was in a tornado. Like I was like, here we go. I'm trying to like go and like hadn't really ever and felt I didn't even like making a blocking move to my left felt so bizarre. I was like, I don't know how to do this. It was weird. It must have gone okay.
Yeah, so then did you know you were going to go in as an outside? Like, did they put that in the email? Like, hey, Kim, just to let you know, we didn't select you as an opposite. We want you coming here
I think so.
as a receiver.
I think so. Or I think maybe even in the tryout, they were like, they might have even told me in the tryout, like, you're not strong enough as an opposite or whatever, but we think you'd fit better here. So I was I don't know if they said it explicitly in the email, but like, I kind of knew at that point. I was like, I'm not going to make it as an opposite. I kind of knew I wasn't going to.
Were you, oh man, I'd be so nervous. How nervous were you walking in the first day being like, all right, we're playing with the Mikasa. I'm not a receiver. And here we go.
Yeah, it was horrifying a little bit. The best thing is it was like, I got in there like a couple of days before the whole group got back in. So I got in and there was still a smaller group of like maybe less than 10 girls or something.
Okay.
So like I got to like start kind of slow. My first day, I was still like scared to death, but it was like me and like Cassidy like me in like carts, like on a court. So like I got to like ease myself into it, but like I was scared for sure. Oh my gosh, that was like 7
So when the actual practices start, what's your mindset?
The mindset is like, oh my gosh, I'm passing next to Jordan Larson. Let's have some fun, you know? Like it was like pure, like, let's enjoy it because like, I'm here for 2 months and probably not a day more. So like, heck, I'm going to like drink in everything Karch says. And that was kind of the thing.
What was the turning point that summer? Or like, what was the first tournament you went to where you're like, okay, I'm actually have a chance at this? Or was there like a moment even that summer, like in the first week or 2 weeks where like, I'm getting it?
No, I don't think so.
How long did that take for it to like settle in where you're like, okay, I'm getting it a little bit here?
I mean, like, so I felt relatively safe was probably not until the last tournament of that summer.
Which was?
Pan Am Cup.
Okay.
No. Norseca, I think. And that was when because some of the older girls were like kind of taking the summer off or going slow. And then they came back for that tournament. Like Jordan came back, Fluke maybe came back, or some other girls. So like if I made that tournament, I was kind of in the group a little bit more, versus like the beginning of the summer, it was all new young girls. And like I remember making the first Pan Am Cup, I think that's what it was, in like Peru. And I was stoked. And I was like, oh my gosh, I made an actual roster. But I think when I felt like I like kind of had a little bit more of an in was at the end.
And what year was this? Do you remember?
2013.
2013?
Yeah.
Sick. You have one summer. Wow, this is incredible. So then
that is incredible.
So what's the first year you go abroad to? Was it to Poland?
Poland.
Poland. And you went as a receiver, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
They're like, USA, like, you have to go as a receiver.
Yeah,
you have to learn how to do this.
I wouldn't have wanted to go anything else.
Yeah, for sure. What, oh my God. It's just like, this is just so wild to wrap your head around because it happens so fast. So fast.
Yeah.
Did you go in like, all right, I'm just a blind squirrel, like tell me what to do? Or were you like, did you have any idea what the hell was going to happen going into that season? Like you were just like, all right, I'm just going to like figure out how to pass. Like, did you have any kind of a plan, or you're just like, I'm just going to be the best me I can be?
To Poland?
Yeah.
I don't think I had a plan at all. I think I was like, I don't know. I think I was just like wide-eyed, like excited to like go overseas for the first time, like make some money, blah, blah, blah. But like, I don't think I had any expectations really. I think most of it was, it's so new and every experience
That's like
so
the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Though. It's just like wide-eyed and pushing.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was also hard because you get like, it was a tough season. I got like knocked down a few times. Like, it was hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I had zero expectations, which helped. But it also was hard because like, as an American player going overseas, like, I don't know. Americans always have this pride, and especially coming from college or whatever. And like to go overseas, like I think most college players like kind of get a rude awakening a little bit, I don't know.
Yeah. I would definitely agree.
Yeah. Sure.
So what about in the USA gym? Were you kind of a lone soldier, or did you get under anyone's wing, or what was that about?
I think the good thing about USA and the group was like it was a group of all solid people and like really welcoming, like nice girls who like I said, were really welcoming. And like that group was like Kristen Hildebrand, like Courtney Thompson, like Lauren Paulini, and they were like all really nice. And like, especially Kristen Hildebrand's like such a sweetie and like my same position. So she like for sure helped me and talked me through things and like made me feel at home. So I was really lucky there weren't like some like older bitch girls who were like young girl coming in trying to take my spot. You know, like nobody was like that. It was like,
totally.
Yeah.
Which is literally what Jordan said, like the quad before.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
and they were like, we are not having that again. Like that was miserable.
That's what I've heard stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm grateful I wasn't a part of that because I would have not lasted long.
So then what's one thing that you learned in Poland, like out of like one of your trials that like not stuck with you for the rest of your career, but definitely stuck with you going into 2014, that next summer?
Oof.
We were like, this is really hard, but reflecting back, you're like, that was huge.
Wow, that's a good question. I think like the biggest thing I learned was like controlling what you can control. And as cliche as that is, like in that season, like I wasn't really starting much. I had a coach who was trying to teach me things that were like the complete opposite of what we were learning in the USA. And like basically almost made me cry like off him because it was so hard and like teaching me other things where like I was not learning that way, blah, blah, blah. And it got to the point where like in practice, I have to do what he says, blah, blah, blah. And like somehow find a way to keep my strength mentally, you know? And like, I couldn't control how I was playing. I couldn't control how practices were going or like even what my coach really even thought of me. So like, I don't know. I think it was just a toughening, you know, where like after that season, I was like, oh my gosh, I can do kind of anything. I can survive anywhere and be fine. And thankfully it got easier after that, but that was the perfect first season kind of situation.
I feel like a lot of players go through that, but like so many just give up.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's your first year. It's like your freshman year of college. Yeah. It's like you're homesick. Things just aren't as you expected. Like maybe you have somebody back home you really want to see or whatever. And like you just have to get through it. And then the second one's always better. Like you could go to an even worse place.
Totally.
And then you're just like, I know how to do this.
For sure.
I know how to go to the grocery store.
If I went back to Poland now, I think I would have really liked it. Yeah. You know, like it would be great. But like, I remember my friend telling me that like when I was like in the dark winter of my first season, she was like, it's your first season. Like it sucks. Like no matter what, you're really lonely and it's just gonna suck because your first season. I was like, no, it's always like this. It's always, you know. But,
yeah. I mean, there's people that play in like some amazing places and they're just like, I hate it. It's like, how can you, how?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Different for everyone.
So then you go into 2014 and you go into the gym and is it this like huge sigh of relief that's like, oh, I'm finally home. Like I'm back to something I know.
Oh my gosh. Totally. I was so happy to get back into the gym and like people like taught things I thought were correct and like believing in what I was doing and like not, doubting everything the coach says, you know. That's why that summer was fun because it was like I had such a bad year overseas and like all I wanted to do was like come in the gym and like get better, you know?
Yeah. It was like a relief.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Kim, as you're going through that of disagreeing with what's being taught and whatever, how do you deal with that?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Maddie said tears. She's like, I just cry.
I cried a lot. I cried. Yeah, I think I cried even in practice.
I don't know if there's a right answer to that, but.
No. And there isn't. And I don't know. Like I tried a few times to have conversations with my coaches and like they acted like they were like really open to listening to me. Let's have a conversation about it. And I'd be like, okay, well, like this is what I was doing last summer and I felt like it was working well. And he would just be like, okay, but no, this works better. And I was like, why are you even having a conversation with me if like you're not going to even listen to me?
If they're just going to dismiss you right off the bat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you don't want to hear my opinion, don't ask for it, or like you're not going to listen to me.
For sure.
So yeah, like nice for sure. Tears. I was crying in like survival mode. I had like a few teammates who I loved who like were kind of in the same boat, other foreigners, and we just like commiserated together. We're like miserable, together, which was great.
Yeah.
And they helped me survive. And at that point, it was like I was counting down I had like counting down to the day of like 45 more days, 44 more days, like until I go home. It was tough, but you survived.
Yeah, that's like what it's all there. I mean, I think like at any point in your life, there are moments where you're just like, this is a survival.
Mm-hmm.
This is not like going to be enjoyable. There are going to be moments where like this just sucks.
Yeah.
Like even when you play in like long tournaments, like day like 6, 7, 8, you're just like, this is miserable. And nobody's having fun.
Nobody.
Nobody across the board. You walk into breakfast and you're like, we're all in the same boat. It's just like, who's going to tough this one out tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's going to be the absolute aggressor?
Yeah, I think that's where the great comes out, though.
For sure. In those moments.
I mean, so then you walk in in 2014 and like, yes, it's like puppies and rainbows. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And then what are you personally thinking of? And like, how is it in cahoots with the rest of the team of like, this is going to be our process leading into the World Championship?
Well, that summer was funny because we played Grand Prix, our like 4 or 5 week tournament, whatever.
Yeah, and Jordan said it was a disaster.
A disaster. We didn't even make the finals week, which never happened. Like, it was so bad. Oh my gosh. Like, Karch, like one time got so mad, he like hit the buzzer, like to do a timeout and like cut his hand open, bleeding. Like he was so mad. We were really bad. So that's why, like, that was the best thing that ever happened to us because we got back in the gym and they were kind of kicking our asses and we were like having to grind. We're like, we are shit. We have world champs in like 2 months or whatever it was. Like, we don't have much time. So that's why everybody was just like, pedal to the metal. We have to grind and like get better. And that's why it was weird. Like, I remember that summer when we were leaving for world champs, it was like, not that we weren't ready, but it was like, we're in the middle of learning stuff. We still have to keep learning it. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, we're like, we're done. We're ready. It was more like, I don't know. We were just still so in like learning, getting better mode that it was like the tournament was interrupting that almost. It was like weird.
The process was still in motion.
Yeah. And we were all so excited about the process and like so into it. Yeah. It was weird. But that's kind of what helped us probably is we were still just like still going like this, like
it's almost like being naive to the moment.
Totally.
You're just like, we're here.
Yeah.
All right, so what's next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then going through it, did you realize at any point in time you're like, I'm having a pretty good tournament? Or were you just like totally naive to the moment where you're just like, just playing? Like as long as the team's doing well, we're all doing good.
Just playing ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I remember at some point, like mid-tournament, like having a meeting with Karch, like a check-in. He was like, "You're having a pretty nice tournament." And I was like, "Oh my God." Like, he thinks I'm having a good tournament. Like, I'm just carrying my weight. You know what I mean? Like, trying to like not be what is like the ball and chain, like
the black sheep out
there.
Yeah,
something like that.
Dragging us down.
I just want to like keep up with everyone and like not be the reason we're losing points. So I don't think I ever had that because when they like said I was MVP, I was like, no, like this has to be a mistake. It was hilarious, actually. That was fun. Good times.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
You went from like a tryout kid, which I know we're just totally selling USA stuff right here, but you went from a tryout kid playing opposite to like 1 year abroad outside to the FIVB World Championships.
It's kind of hilarious.
Isn't it funny? It's funny to say it out loud because you're just like, this is so amazing.
It's so obscure that it makes it funny.
Totally. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Did you ever think about it? Like, cause you guys played in World Cup prior to going into the Olympics and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you think about it at like every tournament after that where like I was the MVP of World Championships? Like there's this extra pressure, or was it just like that was cool,
I think probably like maybe up to like a year after. Like I remember like I played in Italy the next season, and World Champs were in Italy, and then I went to Italy the next season, and there was like kind of like a little bit of a hype of like, oh, a little bit of pressure.
MVP,
yeah. And I remember thinking that, and like I think through that season too, it like gave me a confidence boost of like I do deserve to be here, you know, that kind of thing. But then like, especially like USA, like everybody's so good that it's you go back in the summer and everybody's, you know, the same level, you know, so it didn't last long.
When did you I didn't ask Jordan because I was like, you seem like you're pretty much in the mix like every year, you know, this doesn't really matter. But like when did you learn you were going to the Olympics for sure? How close to the tournament was it?
Well, he officially told us, I want to say like 3 weeks before. Like that summer leading up to it, like in the few months leading up to it, like I had a pretty good idea because of like I'd been playing in tournaments leading up to it. Also, Karch kind of said like high likelihood you're going to be going. Okay. So like I kind of had an idea, but like it's also a little bit scary, you know, like you're still a young one and like you don't really know what's going to happen. So the official word was probably like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Did your mindset change once you found out you were going? Like, was there, obviously there has to be some like sigh of relief for sure. Cause you're like, yes, I did it. Yeah. But then it's like, okay, now new goal. Like now it's like gold medal or bust.
Totally.
What was your guys' thought or like mentality going into that tournament? And like, was it different from World Championships or was it like the same process? Like that, like thought of learning or like,
it was different because I think it was like World Champs is like on our path to arriving to the Olympics. You know what I mean? And the Olympics, like we wanted to be and were like the top of our game. Like
for sure.
Had it together, like felt good about it. And I think we were there. We like we all felt confident. We all felt good in our roles. We felt good as a team and like we were like ready, you know? Exactly how you want to feel, I think, going into it. So I think we prepared well, which we could have, even though it didn't turn out like we wanted.
Why do you think like, do you ever look back and like, God, I wish I would have changed this, or like, I wish we would have done this, or are you pretty okay with being like, Serbia was just better than us?
No, I mean, I would.
It'd be easier to say, yeah.
A part of me will always hate Serbia, and I have Serbian friends on the team, but like there's something like it's I think it will always hurt the rest of my life a little bit.
For sure.
And like for sure there are things, I don't know, it's hard because like leading up to it, like I wouldn't change anything. How we prepared, how we were as a team, we were good. Like me personally, like I didn't play great in the Serbia match and I got benched. So like I'll always have that of like, I wish I would have played better, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that ever like after that match, did that put like wood on the fire to be like, that's never happening again? Or is it just like, it's a one-time thing, just get over it, just move on?
For me personally? I think a little bit like immediately after, but like, I don't know, I've played so many matches since then, like big important matches where like I played good and I played not great, you know, and I don't know. At some point, like, it's just like how sports go as much as it sucks, you know?
Sure.
So, and like, even as much as it hurts me, like, Kelsey came in for me and played really well.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's like, that's what she's there for our team. That's why we're a team, you know? And like, if we would have won that match, like, it would have been amazing and I wouldn't have had any regrets, you know, or I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think, and especially like coming back for like another 4 years, like I said, we did everything leading up to that, right? So like, I think it's kind of, and we still lost, you know, which can happen by a few points, you know, it was like so close. So like, it's almost like a release of like, we're going to do everything we can in these 4 years and like, it can still not go our way. So like, it's more about like the relationships and the journey and that kind of stuff than like the gold medal, you know?
For sure.
So can I go back?
Yeah.
So Kim, with college girls, They are a species of their own, for sure. What recommendations would you give them to just be self-fulfilled?
For me, it's always been like knowing who I am outside of volleyball, and like
Word.
knowing why I'm here, why I've chosen to be on this team or this school or whatever, and like being confident in who I am outside of the court and the person I am. And then and then it takes the pressure off of volleyball because volleyball is just a bonus. It's like this amazing opportunity to like play this game and like accomplish things or meet people, but like that's not it. So I don't know. That's what's helped for me. And even now, like having friends outside of volleyball or like a life outside of volleyball, like I don't know, that helps.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's hard too when you're like in college and like your life kind of revolves
That's
around
your life, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like taking up all your time. It's like school and then blah 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 blah. But like, even if you don't have time to like pursue other activities, which I encourage you to do if you can, but like even if you can't, like there's also like I think some mental training you have to do to, like I said, understand who you are outside of it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah,
It can be hard.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And for you, you're like you're deep in your faith, yeah?
Yeah.
Does that help you a lot when like times like that?
For sure. In college, it helped me a lot because like college was hard. Like my coaches were up my ass. So except for my freshman year, the next 3, like they were hard on me, like really hard. And I like hated playing. I hated going to practice. I like wish I was praying to get injured 2 times, which sounds terrible, but like, and that was kind of the thing that got me through it really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How, like, in what way they just like crushed you every day, or they were just like, you have to be better, or what?
Yeah.
Or all of the above? Kind
of all of the above. I was like, when I was a senior, or when I was a freshman, Julie Rubenstein was a senior.
Yeah.
And she said she was Nina's and the coach's whipping post. And she kind of said they always have to have a whipping post. And she was them. When she left, she was like, someone else is going to have to do it. And it was me. And I think they had someone, I think they saw potential in me. And like, also I was a big recruit. So there was some sort of pressure of like, I don't know.
Pan out.
Yeah. Kind of. So I think like they expected a lot of me and maybe I wasn't fulfilling that. And so they didn't really know how to get that out of me or something. So they were just kind of on me all the time and like kind of said some shitty things to me. So it was hard.
It sucks because I don't want to say like it worked, but it's
don't
not,
say it. This is why. Yeah,
I know that sucks because I don't want to say it works because it's still not right what they did, right? But like the only reason it worked is because it was a culmination of like everybody coming together, not just like you having a great senior year. Like Leela played really well.
Yeah.
Emily Cook played really well.
Yeah.
Victoria played really well. Kelly Wooliver had like the season of her career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it like all culminated to you guys going to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And then losing to SC, who was like 5-star recruits all the way around. And like
the 5th set.
Yeah. And Hawaii. Like I remember watching it in my dorm room and I was just like, I can't believe they're there.
Yeah.
Like they're just some small WCC school that went undefeated in conference. And like, those are our friends. Those are our girls.
We're doing it.
I was like, oh my God, we're doing it.
That was fun.
Yeah, because we all thought we were like, they're going to get crushed. And then they came out and they were balling and we were like, oh my God, we might win. They might win it, dude. We were thinking about, we were like, we might go to a Final Four. Like we might fly out and go watch these kids in a Final Four.
We were so close. We could have, man.
Yeah,
we were right
it was
there.
close. What was more heartbreaking, that or losing the semis?
In the Olympics?
Yeah.
The Olympics, a little bit. A little bit.
How did you guys bounce back? I asked Micah Christensen the same thing. I was like, because they were like this close.
We were too.
Yeah, I mean.
We were ahead 13-10 too, or 13-10, something like that.
Yeah, but they were up 2-1 with the lead in the 4th. And then Zaitsev just said like, nah, fam. 4 in a row.
Freaking hurts.
You know what I mean? But how did you guys, because he was like, it was just devastation for 2 days.
Exactly. That's the perfect word.
Like absolute devastation.
And you know what helped us? I don't know if somebody else mentioned this, but I think the day after we lost, we got Carrie Walsh sent Karch an email because they had just done the same thing. They had just lost in the semis and had to play
Yeah.
the bronze medal match. And she sent him an email and was like, to encourage us, and was like, you guys, this is going to be the grittiest, hardest match you will ever play in your life. She's like, you will never even have anything close to this as far as emotions and hurt and all this kind of stuff. And she said, but if you pull it out, it will be the proudest thing you've ever done in your life. I had the chills a little bit. That's embarrassing. But she was right. And like, that kind of got me pumped, because I was like, we were all like in despair of like, I don't want a fucking bronze, you know, I mean, we did, but like, you don't want a bronze medal, and like the gold was right there. And so, yeah, it was like for sure a solid 24 hours of like devastation, and like going to practice the day after, whatever, was like horrible. And yeah, I don't know. I think her email, like, for me, helped a ton.
I remember talking to Marv, like walking into it, and he's like, I hope we don't get silver. And I was like, I would figure you like don't want to place, or like you don't want bronze. And he goes, no. Bronze and gold are the best because you win them. Silver, you lose it. And he's like, you see the bronze medalists, and they're like the happiest people in the world next to the gold medalists. And you see like the silver medalists, and they're just in tears. And he's like, you win a bronze, you lose a silver. And I was like, all right. Like, I was like, okay. And I like looked out for it, and I was watching, and I was like, those silver medalists look beat.
Mm-hmm.
Those poor bastards.
I think that's totally true. And like, I've done both. I've lost in big matches and had silver, and that to have to go on a podium after that loss sucks. So I would say, yeah, bronze for sure.
And then Micah Christensen was like, fourth is the worst.
Because
you're like, you are one of the best teams in the world, but you just weren't good enough for like one match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like, fourth is the worst in the Olympics.
The worst. And one of my closest friends is Robin de Cruijff, who's on the Dutch team. Yeah. We beat them in the bronze medal match, and we always joke about it. And I'm always like, yeah, we fucking lost and we got bronze. And she's like, you have a medal. She's like, we were right there and we couldn't get a medal. Like, yeah, that's true.
Totally.
You know.
That is very true. Jesus. So then, was it like going into this next quad? Like, how much has changed between you and like the team dynamic of? Is it gold or bust for you guys, or is it like, okay, we just need to do better than bronze, or is it just like, okay, we just have to work on the process and whatever happens, happens? Because that was your guys' mentality in 2016, right? It was just like, we're process based. Whatever happens, happens. We obviously know what the end goal is, but like, do you guys talk about it more often now? Like, this is what we want, or less, or?
You know what? I think maybe less. Like, last quad, we had like on our whiteboard, like every day was like Rio 2016. And like, we haven't had near as much Tokyo 2020 as we did last time.
Okay.
And I don't know what the reasoning for that or whatever is, but it's been different for sure. I think also because this quad, we've gone through so many changes as far as personnel and like girls in the team coming and going and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, like, the goal has always been there. It's always going to be the gold medal, no matter, because we've never gotten it, you know, especially. But I don't know, it's been different for sure. And like, because we've had so many ups and downs, like we haven't been quite as confident in being able to reach that goal, I don't think, as we were at last quad. Last quad, we were like, we're doing it for sure. I remember like in the Rio Olympics, China lost to like Holland or something, and China was the team to beat. And we were watching in our hotel room, and Kelly Murphy looked at me and she was like, we're winning a fucking gold medal because China just lost, and we're like, fuck yeah, we are. Like, they just, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, you're good.
Anyways, but like, we were that confident that we could, you know?
Yeah.
And it's been a little different. This quad.
What do you feel like in this quad has been like the biggest thing where you're just like, we got to fix that?
Ooh.
Like, actually, here's a better question. Was the turning point, you guys have to walk into this world championship with pressure, because it's like, you're the reigning world champions, and then you guys didn't put the display you wanted to on. Do you feel like that changed? Did that change like the evolution of your process of like, we need to fix a lot of things? Or was it just like, it's a fluke, it happens, don't worry about it, like we'll just move on from it?
No, the first, the first part, like it like shook us for sure, and especially our like staff and program. Like,
Was it like a reality check kind of shake, or was it just like a?
No, for sure it was a reaction, because also before that we played Vienna, which is the first grueling long tournament, and we won, which is like amazing. So we were kind of like, we're cruising, but like we got something good going here. Like we kind of got it, you know?
Yeah.
And then we go to World Championships and like kind of get our butts kicked. And so like after that, for sure, we were like, okay, we don't have figured out, like something is broken, and like we're not winning anything like this, you know? That's why last summer was a bit tumultuous as far as people coming and going, and like figuring out starting lineups, which we're still figuring out, you know, like that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. So walk us through, last summer you decided to take a couple weeks off. What was the reasoning?
Actually, probably more than a couple weeks. So the summer before was really tough. Like I came home from my season overseas and had, I think, like 3 days or something. And then I went immediately to Vienna, which is a 5-week tournament, and then like a 10-day finals. It's like 7
Yeah, I was
weeks,
gonna say, yeah, it's almost
basically.
7 weeks.
7 weeks. And it's nonstop flying around the world. And so like basically that summer was like nonstop, and like I counted the days at home, and I was home like 56 days of the whole freaking year, and it was like kind of awful. It was nonstop. So then like coming back the next summer, I was like mentally done, and like I was gonna have an extra week more than some other girls because my season went longer, blah blah. And Karch like called me the night before I was supposed to start and was like, how you feeling? You ready to start tomorrow? And I was like, no, I'm not. Like I'm kind of dreading going to the gym. I'm not ready. And he was great, and like was like, okay, like this is important. And so I stayed home and didn't go in the gym for another like 2 weeks or something, or maybe 1 week. And then I slowly came into the gym and was like slowly building my way up. And it was like awesome, like so nice to have that break, because I was like so fried, like so done. Yeah, it was a tough like 2 years basically.
Yeah, man, it's a grind.
It's a grind.
I don't know. And like, this is either the best or worst thing that's going to happen to like every international federation around the world for sports, because some people are going to be like, I really love spending time with my family. I don't want to play volleyball anymore. And some people are like, I love this so much, like I need it back. Yeah, like I'm suspecting you're in a situation like Matty Anderson, where he's just like, I can't do this anymore. Like I just need a little bit of a break. Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, a little bit sad, because you have these like top level players who like actually want to be playing. Yeah. But like because of the schedule, like it burns everybody out, you know? And like if we had like something more sustainable where like there was an off season period, like we don't have any off seasons. Like even if it was like a month or like something, people would want to play longer for sure. I mean, I don't know if I would, but like people would, you know? So it's
I mean,
a little
like
sad.
There's a reason Jordan retired twice.
Yeah.
Like
it's hard to give it up. Yeah.
Everybody needs to take a little bit of a break
for
when
sure.
you're giving so much of yourself to a sport.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll change something. Like we've been trying to get after the FIVB to change the schedule. Yeah,
you've been a very vocal presence against like the scheduling.
But I really haven't. This is what's funny to me, is I really feel like I haven't done much. I posted like one time on my like Instagram, like players need more rest.
You're like a pretty quiet person though. Yeah, so if you say something, then it's like, oh, this should be brought to everyone's attention.
Yeah, but it's funny because people message me, like even coaches, like prominent coaches, were like, thank you for saying something. I'm like, you haven't said shit. Like, like I know I should be saying something, I need to too, but like you have power too, you know, like a little bit like, I don't know. But yeah, kind of get to the point where you're like, screw it. Like, if I'm not going to say something, who is, you know, or like, I don't have anything to lose at this point, really.
No, not at all. Aside money, that's it.
That's something. Yeah.
So then how's your team like using this time now? Because I'm guessing like a year to fix a problem, even 2 years, it's not even a year. It's like a grand total of like maybe 5 months post World Championships to like fix this. Has this been like a total blessing in disguise for you guys of like this is getting postponed to like help you guys?
100%. Like initial reactions were like, oh no, a whole nother year. But like in hindsight, like we all kind of said, like maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but like we were all kind of like, if we had to play the Olympics this summer, we wouldn't win a medal. Like we weren't good enough this summer, but we have the potential to be if we have more time to put some stuff together. So we have a whole freaking other year to like fix it all and like make it worth our while to like recommit ourselves, not just that, but to like believe in it more. You know, I think that's the biggest thing. Like we didn't really believe in ourselves for this summer, but like to have a whole year to like get that back, I think that will change everything. I hope it's like, it's exciting. Before I was like not super optimistic about winning anything like I said, but like now I'm excited about it and like believe that we can do it. And like, I want to like make it better, which we all kind of feel.
It also like gives other teams
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like in reverse, it gives other teams the chance to like not figure it out.
Cause
a little dissension among my Italian teammates.
Yeah, no. It's like for the other like best
or
teams.
over figure it out.
Yeah. So like
that will be interesting. Huge. That's what will be interesting if other teams are like growing too, or like because obviously no one's able to practice and like do
like
anything.
Serbia just got a gym, and I think Serbia and Poland just got in the gym. But I don't know how in the gym they actually are.
And I heard a rumor. I don't know if I can say this name. I heard a rumor one of the men's Serbian teams got diagnosed with COVID.
Yeah,
and so it got shut down. Yeah, and so it all got shut down. Women's, men's, so they're not practicing.
Yeah, Antanasijevic has COVID.
Yeah, and another player too, I think.
And another guy?
I think so they're not practicing. Nobody's practicing. So like the only thing we can do right now is like build relationships kind of, which
like
is
Zoom calls,
which is what we're doing, you know, and like working on that. So like, and honestly, from what I've heard from other national teams, I don't think they're doing that, you know? So hopefully that will work to our advantage, you know, at some point.
Totally.
Well, Kim, I think we're good here.
I think we're good here.
Kim gets it because she's a wave.
I get it. I think we're good here.
Kim's a wave, so she gets it.
She immediately got it. She goes, "Aw."
I know. When I saw the name of the podcast, I was like, "Oh, that's great."
Kim, thank you so much for your time, dude. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, this was awesome.
My pleasure. It was actually a pleasure for me. Easy. I like to talk, so yeah.